Hello, everybody. How you doing? How's everyone doing today? Um, I'm sorry, I'm running really late. That's why I wasn't able to get a link up until just a few minutes ago. Let me try to start getting everything ready. Yeah, it is. All right. It's good to see people here, even with the short notice. I don't know. So on my end, it said 2 o'clock, so I was still okay. I'm getting here on time, just maybe late in the 2 o'clock minute. But okay, just got to open up all the different files here. So how's everyone been doing? Any good success stories or anything? Um, Anything anyone would like to share with the group as we kind of get set up and wait for people to get logged in? Okay, I think I got everything open. Oh, okay. So what's been going on? Still, so we're still. I did get the Enochian prayers released. People seemed pretty excited about that, so I'm glad I finally was able to remember to get that done. Um, so I will try to uh, let you know which one we're doing, so you can read along. If you don't have a copy, it's in. I don't remember if I did I put that out on the Substack or is it just in the groups? I put it on a lot of places, so hopefully everyone had access to it. But it's definitely in the groups and stuff. So if you're in any of the groups, you should be able to have it. I know it's on the Patreon. So um, let's see what else is going on. We've got the things. I don't remember anything. Um, well, so what we'll do here is we'll read the prayers, and I'll read them in English, and then we'll read them in Enochian. And kind of the best practice is whenever we're doing it, you want to have that like that emotional transformation from where you feel your need to where you transform that need into gratitude. And you can start the process when we're reading in English, and then but you just want to try to be in that a feeling of gratitude at the end. Someone saying that they use the prayer for health and helps help some of the family issue within hours. So that's awesome. Yeah, they really do work. It's there's just it's a powerful language, and that language in itself is magical. And you can you can almost think of it as a sigil, and by rearranging the letters, or each letter can be a sigil, and so you're just kind of creating these very complex sigils um, into these prayers. And then the prayers are not just prayers, but they are little magical rituals in themselves. So yeah, they should work pretty well. And so we're going to do the prayers. you want to do the emotional transformation in it, and then I'll send the energy that's kind of associated with the prayer afterwards. And with that, just again, kind of keeping your intention, and then just send the energy where you need it. So if we're doing a prayer for, again, like health, if there's any healing that you need, um, you just send that energy. Just let it know where the healing is, whether it's for you, for someone you love. And again, these work with the concept of healing. So it's not just physical healing, but like if your business needs healing, or a relationship needs healing, or anything of that nature, or protection, the same thing. You can protect anything. You can protect, it can be protection from attack, but it can also be like protect your car, or protect your income, or protect your health, that kind of thing. Or, and for like love, it doesn't have to be to manifest your true love. It can be to find a community, or a friend, or again, like, healing relationships and whatever. And then after we finish with the prayers and doing the energy, we'll do the Sunday ritual and the Sunday ritual cycle, which is something that we're doing to make a better future. We're planting the seed for a better future. And the ritual is kind of set up so that it seems as though we're doing this like for future generations, but that's not it's not how magic works. It could happen in the distant future. It could also happen tomorrow. But that's what that ritual is for. And then we will, I will do and we'll kind of do that as like a guided meditation type thing. And then I will just read this one that's sort of calling on the angels of transportation to help shift us into a more loving, peaceful world. And for the moment, I'll just read that. And we'll talk more about what's going on with that kind of movement afterwards. So that's the plan. Someone's asking, do I own the planetary invocations? I'm not sure what you mean by that. So I think there might be a language barrier there. If you want to rephrase that, and I'm not sure. Are you asking if I have planetary invocations? Like, kind of. Specifically the heptarchy, but that's not what I'm currently working on. And I have like my like for personal use. I don't have something for that's just like generic. So anyway, we've kind of running late, so let's go ahead and get started. Let's take a moment and just take a few deep breaths and just center yourself. We call in the eternal existence, the divine speech, and the holy children. Ol Zakir, Balto, Baltozir, Laugeth, Ad Lil Yokam. Oh, and with you guys having copies of these prayers, now you're going to see how bad I am at actually pronouncing these things. So the call to prayer and temple opening, and these opening ones, you don't need to do any kind of emotional stuff. Come, I call you. Come all to us. Come, call all to us. Make us one in God. Glorify God and rejoice with us. Bless us and unite our fellowship. Make our hearts a holy temple and our minds a holy throne. Open the temple of our spirit and dwell within us, O God. Let our thoughts be immaculate light and our gratitude become an unconquerable power. Make us one as God is one. Come, Sel. Zakar O Non. Zakar Ganon. Eno, Non El Yad, Sobam Yad, O Vavago, non Lapnan, Ad Sobol non, Eno, non Sia, Bosgin Lil, Adnan, Sia Odon Lil, Zakar Bosgin non Sia, Adtabul, non Yad, Nanas non Kazgan, Pul Adnan, Avavago, non Os, Oltal Og, Eno non El, S Yad El. Okay, then we're going to skip down to the prayer for protection. O eternal living God, powerful and most high, holy, everlasting, and strong, we call upon you. We glorify God. Shield us from all things, bless us and guard us. Shatter darkness and break the wicked, and silence the unjust. Be friendly with us. Dwell with us in heaven and earth. Truth and justice eternal from the Creator God. We give thanks, we are blessed, and we rejoice. Yoyad Payid, Yaida, Lil Balto Ad Samf, Zakar Nan Sobal Yad, Lu Kal Nanga, Lapnan Ad Zomad, Pire, Ors Pire Loholo, Ad Zikle, Dorfa, Zorgenan, Tabu Nan, Madriax Ad Keosk, Laiad Veoan, Balto, O Ladyad, Olag Nan, Lapak Nan, Avavago Nan. And this is the energy of protection. And just imagine or just say to yourself where you need it to go. And whatever needs protecting in your life. Okay, we're going to skip down some more and go to the prayer for health and healing. O eternal most high, perfect and everlasting in power, we call upon you, we glorify God. Make us flourish in joy and brightness. Bless us, preserve our strength, and bind us together. Be friendly with us, dwell with us in holiness and abundance. Call and shatter the darkness and shield us from all things. We give thanks, we rejoice, and we are blessed. Yoya, Yaida, Kazgan, Balto, Ad, Samf, Zakarnan, Sobam Yald, Eno Nan, Avavago, Ad Kazgan, Latnan, Zomad Samf, Ad Kisnan, Zorge Nan, Tabu, Nan, Lil, Abaut, Zakar, Pire, Ors, Lokal, Nanga, Olagnan, Avavago, Nan Lapnan. And now the energy of healing. This it's interesting to do it this way. I can feel like it almost like going in different threads, and some threads get pulled really hard. Some people are really using this, and some just just kind of letting it kind of go. Because I can definitely feel some people pulling on it. Okay, so now going down to the prayer for love, friendship, and belonging. O holy God of justice, brightness, and joy, we call upon you. We glorify God. Bless us and be friendly with us, and make union in heaven and earth. Break division and call beauty, and bind us in fellowship. Call forth one in beauty, and make us one. Summon treasures to me, holiness to all joy. Truth and justice glorify us with protection. We give thanks, we rejoice, and we are blessed. Yadan lil veolan, Kazgan ad vavago, Zakarnan sobam yad, Lapnan ad zorgenan, Enon, Madriax ad ask, Pire lanshi, Zakar pugo, ad kis nan sobo, Zakar el pugo, Eno non el, Baut Zakar ol lil ga avavago, Latyad veowan, Sobam nan, Lukal, Olag nan, Avavago go, nan, Lapnan. Now the energy of love and belonging. And the prayer for wealth and abundance. O eternal most high, power holy and everlasting, we call upon you. We praise God. Bless us with all treasures, brightness, and power. We call upon you to break open all riches in the heavens. Rejoice with us, be friendly with us, and shield us from darkness. Bless us, O Creator of all. Our souls give thanks and blessing. O Yad, Yaida, Samf, Lil Balto, Zakarnan, Sobam Yald, Lapnan Gal Balt, Kazgan, Ol Saf, Zakar Ol Pire, Gal Balat Ad Madriax, Avavago Nan, Zorganan, Lukal Ors, Lapnan, Olag, Zada, Meta, Yodanan, Zomed Lap. And now the energy of prosperity. All right, now for the prayer for magical and psychic power. O Most High, God of power, wisdom, and truth, we call upon you. We glorify you. Govern us in wisdom and call me a seer. Make us truth and perfect treasures. Be friendly with us and shield us from darkness and injustice. Bless us with power and let us rejoice. We give thanks for wisdom and protection. Ya'ida, Yadan, Samf Gahoakma, Ad La'iyad, Zakarnan Sobam Yald, Pir Nan Gahoakma, Zakar ol Laholo, Eno Lap La'iyad, Ad Kazgan Balit, Zorge Nan, Lukal Nan Ors Ad Dorfa, Lopnon Sof, Ada Vavago Nan, Olagnan, Gahoakmanan, Zomednan. Okay, so the Enochian prayer for righteous leaders and justice. O ruling God of justice, power, truth, and everlasting light, we call upon you, we glorify God. Govern our fellowship and make the weak a brotherhood. Break the wicked and judge the unjust and darkness. Preserve the lowly and bless us, and bind the lowly in oneness. Establish justice for all, and let God rule everlasting. We give thanks. We are preserved, and we are justice. Yadan va veoan, samf la yad balto, zakadnan sobam yad, pirnan sobor, ad ino sobor nanshi, pire loholo, zikle, dorfa ad ors, zorm nanshi, lot nan kis el lanshi, kis vaoan, ga piryad balto, olag nan zamar nad veoan nan. And the prayer for freedom from oppression. I call upon God Almighty, the Most High, the ruling God, the unconquerable power. I call for judgment upon darkness, to bind all injustice, and cast down and bind all suffering of the lowly. Have mercy on us, and preserve us, and make us powerful. Let us govern ourselves, and establish us to govern the earth. Shine the light of your face, and grant us wisdom, and perfect our spirit. Grant us joy, and glorify us. Zakar ol yad balto, pa'id ya ida, yadan ol sam ta'ag, zakar ol zikle ors, kis ga dorfa, ad tax ad kis ga lanshipul pre ol, zamid ol, ad ino ol samf, purol ol, ad kis ol pir kaask, zakar odan lap ol, Gahuakma, Ol Kazgan, Ol Sia, Olag, Ol Avavago, Ad Sobal Yal Ol. And now going down for the prayer for wisdom and divine union. O God most high, wisdom bright and holy, we call upon you. We glorify God. Make us wisdom and divine truth. Join our spirit as one and bind us in heaven and earth. Be friendly with us, rejoice with us, and bless us. Wisdom is power and holiness, and we give thanks. Yad Ida, Gahawakma Gazgan Lil, Zakarnan Sobal Yald, Ino Nan, Gahawakma Ad La Yad, Sia Ol Ia Ino, El Ad Kis Nan, Madriax Ad Kaask, Zorge Nan, Vavago Nan Lapnan, Gahawakma, Samf Lil, Ad Olag Nan. Okay, now we're going to do the Sunday ritual from the cycle. Again, the purpose is to plant a silent seed of healing and coherence into the pattern of the future, anchoring the possibility of peace, clarity, and balance for all who come after us. This is subtle, magical work that acknowledges long cycles of decay and renewal. You'll visualize planting a seed of light in the land, holding the intent that it will grow into truth and healing when the time is right. This is a gift given in silence, without agenda or ego. So we're not trying to tell it what we want, other than balance and truth and healing. But we're not trying to send a vision of a political party winning or something like that. So close your eyes. Take some slow, gentle breaths. And as you breathe, let each breath take you deeper into stillness and relaxation, as if sinking into the quiet earth. Feel your presence settle in your body and be present with where you are. The statement of intent. I stand in silence, and we stand in silence and clarity. May the truth be revealed, the people be protected, and the land be healed. We ask not in anger, but in service to pattern and peace. We stand not alone. We walk with Jareth Tempest and all aligned with La'Yad Veo One Temple, in silence and purpose. Though we are scattered, our pattern is one. Now visualize a small seed of light, clear, soft, and radiant, resting in your hands. The seed is not a wish or a command. It is a pattern of clarity and peace. Now imagine gently placing the seed into the earth beneath you. See it nestle in the soil, surrounded by quiet. Now whisper to it, may this land know peace again. May the children inherit a clean pattern. May what I plant today bloom in its season. Now feel the seed rest in stillness, untouched by haste or fear. May what is false fall. May what is hidden be revealed. And may those in danger be wrapped in truth and protection. It is done. So you can open your eyes now. And so this next part, and in the future, we'll do it more as a guided meditation as well. But for the time being, we'll do that when the temple is ready. Right now, the temple is resting. It needs a month to sit and not be used, and just kind of settle into place. And so once that month is passed, we'll start doing the meditation and going through the temple. But as it is now, I'm just gonna read this, and just you can't read this with me, but just go ahead and just kind of set your intention that you are that our timeline shifts into a better one of where the world is a more peaceful world, where justice and truth reign, and not what we have. Zakar o thil ad pir thil yadan fa ra ra roth offer ad kis ol thil samp yaida od ga thil kamsi ad pir Zakar o thil raas zingen zir pir zanzaxen Zakar o thil raas nanta Zakar o thil raas mor dial hectiga Zakar o thil raas ik zahi igzeheka Zakar o thil raas akembikev Zakar o thil raas anaim Zakar o thil raas afra Zakar ol fra herap roth offer zomd non o pier nam ta chaos gal bliorb pox old pier thil raas sonden olag nam thil ad sobam nam thil yadan. All right, and that's that. All right, so that's we'll do the final blessing when we close out. Um, does anyone have any comments or questions about kind of what we're doing or anything else? Obviously, we're not taking as long as we used to. Um, I'll probably start now that, especially since you guys have the prayers, we might start adding a little bit more, um, and try to get at least a full half-hour service out of it. But for the time being, like this week, I was rushed and I didn't have time to stop and really think about what we were going to do. Um, and then again, as the temple once it's finished settling, we will begin working with that, and we'll do the rituals in that setting. So that'll be more of a path working, and then we can and I can work some of these other prayers in as well. But for the time being, it is what it is, and I think we're getting a good little start, and then hopefully we'll start getting more and more stuff going. There's a lot going on. Like in this whole the temple, the building of the temple, and the process of that, and getting all of that founded is kind of it's a lot of work, and it's a lot of work, and it's kind of draining. And then there's the I'm just working on a lot of books and stuff, and projects and different things, and hopefully we'll have some surprises. Hopefully by the end of the week. I don't want to get too specific because I don't know for sure we're going to make it, but we're going to try. So be ready for that. Anyway, so are you guys still there? I have no one said anything in a while. Yes, no. Okay, well, if no one has anything to say, um, and as far as I can tell, I'm still alive. Oh, there it goes. Okay, so how do you stay focused so your mind doesn't wander into thoughts during the prayers? Practice. Just like so I kind of did. I mean, I went around things kind of differently from most people, but I learned to meditate. I was doing prayers and stuff, but I was also learning to meditate. And as I learned to meditate, that teaches you to focus. And as you learn how to focus, then you can start like keeping your mind from wandering. And it's a difficult skill that I know a lot of magicians don't have, and it's something but it comes from meditation practice. Um, 20 minutes a day. I used to do twice a day. I'm good if I get one in a day anymore, but that's the kind of that you just got to practice. That's what it takes, and there's no easy way like to control your mind. That's the thing. Like, so it just takes a lot of work and effort. And I wish there was an easier way, but and the way that I meditate is I use a mantra. I pick a word or phrase and I just say that over and over, kind of in sync with my breathing. And you don't need to get any weird positions. You just sit in a chair with your back straight and breathe from your diaphragm. You want your stomach and your chest to move in and out, and not your shoulders to go up and down. You want to breathe properly. And it one trick I can give you is if you use something with an ah vowel, like father, um, that ah sound, and also moving your eyes up, um, triggers something in your head that helps the meditation process. So using a mantra that has a lot of the ah sound, and then in doing that in sync, like breathe out and then breathe in with the ah vowel with your eyes up, and that'll help trigger the meditation process. But anyway, yeah, do that 20 minutes a day, and your mind will wander constantly. And just label your thought, I'm thinking, and then go back to your mantra. And a second and a half later, you're going to be thinking about something else again. You're like, oh, I'm thinking, and come back. That's how it is for everybody. That's how it is for me. That's how it will be. Do not think that because you don't have this perfect stillness in your mind that you're not doing it right. No one has that. And if they're saying they do, they're lying. We get gaps. And as you're doing that, you will get gaps in your thought. And it's in those gaps where the real work is done. But more than anything, it's just the practice. No one ever masters meditation. And if anyone is trying to say that they've mastered meditation, they're trying to they're lying to you, and they're trying to get your money, because that's bullshit. No one masters this. You sit there and you struggle with your brain the whole time. And over the course of months, weeks, months, and years, you get better, and you'll start to notice that your mind goes where you want it to, and that emotions. Well, you'll feel an emotion come on, and then you'll realize that you don't have to give in to the into the emotion, and if you don't feed into it, it'll just pass by. Yeah, so yeah, don't ever, like, so many people are like, I can't meditate, I have ADHD. It's like, doesn't matter. No one can meditate. It doesn't matter if you have ADD or any of these problems. Sure, it's going to be harder to sit still, but it's hard for everyone. Like, even completely neurotypical minds, this is hard. And you can't use any of this stuff as an excuse. You need to just do the work. If you don't remember your dream for 2 days, what can you do to trigger the memory? I don't know. Um, Most of the time, I don't think you really meant. If you're meant to have a dream, like, memory, it'll stick. Like, if it's a real message, if you lose it, um, I don't think it was needed. Um, but I don't know. I don't. There's probably a memory trick or something. But, like, dreams, I don't think you're. I mean, they're designed to be forgotten, so it's very difficult to trick your mind into storing that. Someone's asking if they have the wording correct. Do you think I am rich, or I want riches, for instance? I guess you're talking about, like, for a ritual or something. You would it's whatever works for you. Like, a lot of people really focus on the tense. Like, if they say if you put it in the future tense, that means it's gonna manifest in the future. And it will, if that's what you believe. If you believe that if you use the future tense, it will only manifest in the future and never in the present, then you need to set it in the present. But if that isn't something that's ever occurred to you, or doesn't bother you, you can use a future tense. I use a future tense. I don't feel like I need to use the present tense. And but I also don't use like I want riches as a mantra. What I would do if I was going to do a mantra out of like if whenever I want to try to do, like use meditation to manifest something, I mix up the vowel, I mix the whole word up or mix the phrase up. Sort of like when you create a sigil, you break the get rid of the vowels, um, bring out the consonants, delete any duplicate letters, and then rearrange the consonants. And then since I'm meditating and I like that ah vowel, I'll just start inserting that ah sound into as the vowel as needed. And then I have a phrase and I'll use that to meditate on. And then that is how I would use meditation as a manifestation tool. Because part of that process is you're trying to embed it in your subconscious, and yeah, you can use it. I mean, there's arguments either way because you can kind of do it like as an affirmation. I've just never really liked affirmations that much. It's not. It's a personal thing, I guess. I think I grew up watching Stuart Smalley on Saturday Night Live, and so affirmations always seemed like something he did, which was a joke. So yeah, it's things like that though. You have to know yourself, like what works for you, and then why do things not work for you. And yeah, something as silly as watching a skit on Saturday Night Live can give you an idea in your head like almost like a limiting belief of why something doesn't work or why it should work or something like that. So yeah, and that's why there's no one size fits all with magic. Like you've got to figure out what works for you. Like for me, um, it's not like I went looking for Enochian, but when I tried it, man, that worked really well. And then for some reason, there's something in my unconscious that like really latches onto this system. It's what like really triggers that for me that I didn't get from Kabbalah, and a lot of that's because of Kabbalah's association with Judaism and Christianity, and there's too much religious baggage in there for me. Um, which is a shame because like there's a lot of power in Kabbalah that to have like the Kabbalah in Hebrew. I mean the Hebrew language and Enochian are both similar. They're both magical languages. Only one is like a real language. Where did this fly come from? This is a real language that's used by people and it's been used for centuries with a lot of prayer and devotion, and that further empowers that language. So there's a lot of power in the Hebrew language and therefore in Kabbalah because most of Kabbalah is utilizing the power inherent into that language. It's stored in that language. So that's the and it's not Sanskrit is also similar. So, but I have no connection with Eastern tradition, so that doesn't work for me either. Um, so anyway, yeah, I just ended up with Enochian, but that's just again that's because of my development and my biases and my limiting beliefs and things like that. So someone's saying that they always thought that there was a difference between I have and I want, and it seems like I want means what you're lacking, but I am or I have was more of an establishment of fact. And like I can absolutely see the line of thinking there. And if that is what you believe, then that is what you need to use. But not everyone thinks that way. Not everyone jumps to that conclusion, at least on an unconscious level. And so they can use it without because just doesn't occur to them. And you're not trying to communicate with an outside being or something that needs to have a clear understanding. You're communicating with your unconscious, and it's your unconscious. So you need to figure out what works with your unconscious. And even when you are communicating with an outside spirit, you're still communicating with your unconscious, because everything is you. Everything is your unconscious. Think of it as like when you're dreaming, you can have different characters in your dream who can seem completely alien to you or very different from you. And yet it's all part of you because it's your dream. You understand? And so it's like Lon Milo DuQuette says, it's all your imagination, but your imagination, it's all happening in your head. And it's just that your head is much bigger than you think it is. And so whenever you're trying to work out these ideas of like how, what works for me, you need to figure that out. What works for you and not what works for someone else. Because just because someone else has done something that works great for them, if they've manifested millions of dollars and they're giving, these big lectures or something, and they're paid tens of thousands of dollars to speak on the topic, it doesn't mean that that system is going to work for you. Because, and hopefully they're giving options, because everyone needs options. Everyone's got to find that. You can use the general technique, but then within it, there's going to be like what you're talking about here with like the various I haves or I want, or do I use the present tense or the future tense? Those things are all going to be different for everyone, and you've got to just kind of find your way while still using the wider technique that's being taught or something. And again, that can be for anything, because it's all like so much of this is just your unconscious, and that's where the magic actually happens, is your unconscious communicating with these various outside intelligences and whatnot but it's all happening. The connection is all on those lower unconscious levels. So you've got to figure out what you believe about something. And again, that's really kind of the underlying key of all of it, is figuring out what you believe. And this is why knowing yourself is so important. And you just got to learn to spend time with yourself. And you got to try stuff and just see what works for you. And this is why I really like the time that we live in, where like people like me and the Gallery of Magic and stuff are out there introducing this wide variety of magic from various different systems and stuff. And you can try all of these different things and find what works for you. But at some point, you need to find what works for you. You find that thing, and then you just go deeper into it, and then quit trying to find further new shiny things. Don't, at some point you got to let the new shiny thing go and just go deep into one system. And that can be anything. It could be the Solomonic grimoire tradition with the 72 demons, or it can be the 72 angels, or Greek paganism, or Egyptian paganism, just whatever, or a mix of the two, like in the PGM, where you mix Greek and Egyptian and early Christian stuff all together. You just got to find whatever it is that does it for you, and go for it. What do I think of Orphism? I don't. It's never. I enjoy Greek mythology, but as far as like Greek, putting it into practice, that's not for me at all. I don't relate to the Greek pantheon very well. I grew up really reading the myths and really enjoying the myths, but like I always thought the Greek gods were kind of dicks. So I didn't like because in the stories they can be like that, and I was introduced to them at pretty young. So I can have a little bit. I have a little bit. I'm less intimately known the stories of like the Norse pantheon, so I can work with them a little bit better. And I kind of like I like Celtic aesthetics, and I love like Celtic music, but like paganism's just not really my thing. um, and then if you really want to get into it, like what I really resonate with is like Native American. Like when I go to a powwow and I hear the drums, that I feel that deep down in my soul. But it's a closed system, and I'm not in community, so I don't have access to it. And I know enough to know that most people who say it's not a closed system, anybody can go, they don't know what they're talking about. So, um, but I also resonate really well with Christianity and the mystical Christianity. And so I can, and again, and I can, so there's a little bit of that. I mean, not a little bit. John Dee and Edward Kelly were religious fanatics. Um, a little too much, but you can kind of weed that out and kind of enough that I can still work with what we got there. And I can see like in the calls and stuff, there's messages, but I don't think that they were getting the point. And a lot of it's my own interpretation based on my studies of Christianity and stuff. But I'm able that I think that's another reason it works for me is just because I did get started with like Catholic mysticism, and so it's not it's a little bit like coming home, but not quite. If that makes any sense. But yeah, that's for me though. That's my story, and you've got to figure yours out. Like if like something about like the Greek gods or and especially like you start getting into like the mystery religions and stuff, it can be really there's a lot there. There's a lot to dig into, and believe me, I wish that there was still like an oracle down that you had to crawl down like to a cave on the seaside and then go um, take some kind of psychedelic drug before you to prepare yourself to go into this chamber with the oracle of this and then she gives you the her she talks to the spirits like the gods and gives you answers to your questions like that sounds like an awesome experience. I think we should still have that, but um but we don't because our world sucks right now. Everything fun's gone. Yeah, and I do like that a lot of these like old holidays and festivals are being brought back, and not just on with the witchy crowd, but like I know Scotland is starting to like more and more embrace that kind of pagan past, and I see it in other places too. So that's very cool. I like to see that. I wish America was a little bit more would embrace its native traditions more, not just use them as mascots for football teams. And like if you ever drive through Oklahoma, it's just horrible. All the big Indian mascots with cartoon faces and stuff. It's hideous. Um, I don't know, but that's again that kind of becomes the big message of today though is like you gotta just find that what works for your unconscious and what story works for you. I mean, it doesn't even have to be. Um, you could very well take if like for whatever reason like I'm really into like pop culture and stuff. Like I grew up loving Star Wars, and I really resonate with the Lord of the Rings, and you can totally just work within like the Lord of the Rings is almost a magical system because in a lot of ways it was a revealed story. He didn't so much think he was making it up as to that he was discovering it. And so if someone would have a question about Middle Earth, he would be like, well, let me go check. And he would have to go in his mind, go to Middle Earth and find the answer. And so um, you could completely tap into that and work with, find the parallels and stuff and to other systems and find ways to work with that. I think like you could probably make a good tarot deck out of it anyway, or anything, whatever it is that really speaks to you, where you can really understand the symbolism and be able to use that to take you deeper. Because the whole point of magic, and I know a lot of people are like, I don't care about all this like growth and spiritual stuff. I want to make where it can help me make some money or whatever. Well, that's great, but the way that works is you 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 go within yourself and you try to undo the lack within so that you don't. And then how to phrase that? It brings you into alignment with what you want. And when you're aligned with yourself on a internal level, then you can bring yourself into alignment with what it is that you desire, and then that thing will start to flow to you. And that's really a lot more how this works. And that's why you can try to like get magic to work for something, and it won't work, it won't work, it won't work. Because you're not in alignment. There's something that's a block there. And it's like I was using money magic to try to make our job on the road work, and I could never do it. It wouldn't work. It wasn't until I started doing this type stuff that this was what I was aligned with doing, and that's when the money started to flow. I mean, technically, this is considered chaos magic, but the thing is, and I'm not saying this is a chaos magician because I don't think of myself as a chaos magician, but I think it was really eye-opening when I went and actually read Agrippa. Okay, I haven't read all of Agrippa, but when I read parts of Agrippa, so much of it, he just was like, he invented a symbol and said, okay, well, this symbol represents this, like this thing of the zodiac, and then this one represents this. And so if this spirit is of this thing in the zodiac, then I'm going to run these symbols together, and that's a sigil. And that'll be the sigil that I will use to call that angel. And then other people see that sigil and think, oh, well, that was delivered by the spirit unto him, and therefore that is the great sigil of that angel. No, he made it up. He just made it up. And then the more you read it, like a lot of these things, they just made it up. Someone made all of this stuff up. The names are inaccurate bastardizations of various things that have been translated from one language to another, to another, to another. Almost everything we have is corrupted and made up. It's all made up, but it works because the way it comes to us is like, oh, we believe this, and because it came from this ancient book, this tome, and it's been used for so long, it must be accurate. But it's not. It's just made up. So when I'm saying this is the truth of magic, this is the real thing. It is your unconscious as the communication device with the greater universe. And so you're just trying to find a system, a symbol set that allows you to communicate, because communication is done through symbols more. You're trying to find a symbol set that your unconscious works with. That's really, and that's not, I mean, yeah, a lot of people will hear that like, oh, well, that's just chaos magic. But that's actually what magic is. I mean, really, it's even more than that. That's just sort of one of the tricks to it, to make it work. Because it's just who we are as divine beings, is we can create. But we don't believe that. And so you have to like work your way to that. And you do that by first starting, you get the book of magic, and you do it the way it was done on that book. And then hopefully as you develop as a magician, you start to see, oh, well, this I can adapt it this way and it works better for me that way. And then as you go along, you start realizing, oh, that's what they did. They just adapted this from something else. And then you go, oh, well, they just made it up and it works because we're just magical beings. And then you just keep going until you can walk on water. And so, yeah, like that's the deep mystery of it all is really all of this other stuff is um, it's just there to convince you like that it works. The magic is real because it works this way, but it really works because you're divine. Who's Richard Bach? I don't. That doesn't ring any bells. I don't know. But yeah, that's anyway. That's what. But yeah, you need to figure out what it all goes back to your unconscious and what you believe and what you don't believe too, because what you don't believe has a lot to say about things, and that's why you also need to learn to love yourself. Because if you don't love yourself, like imagine there's someone you really hate. Like, would you give them a gift if you didn't have to? If you just like out of the blue was like, I'm going to give them this gift. You're not going to do that because you hate them. So um, it's the same. If you unconsciously do not love yourself and unconsciously do not believe, don't like yourself, and you don't believe you deserve good things, you're not going to give yourself anything good. So you need to love yourself and you need to forgive yourself. You need to let go of your guilt and your shame and you kind of quit beating yourself up. Otherwise, you're never going to do anything nice for yourself. And you're just going to constantly manifest bad things for yourself because that's what you believe you deserve. And then you need to start applying that line of thinking to every aspect of your life. Like, why can I not get this? Why don't I have what I want? What do I believe about this? Or what do I not believe about this? Or what is the thinking behind this that's keeping me from having it? And it can be as simple as like you can be confident and optimistic and be like, I'm gonna be rich and famous one day, but not today. It won't happen that soon. It's gonna happen for me eventually, but it's not today, not this week, won't happen. But just that thinking of not today or not soon keeps it in the future. So that is kind of like what you're talking about with the future tense, but like it can be just those little subtle differences that can keep you from getting something if that's how your brain works and your unconscious mind works. Have I ever had success saying abracadabra? No, I've never tried the abracadabra. So no, I can't say I haven't tried it. Um, Jonathan Livingston Seagull. That sounds vaguely familiar, but I don't really know. But yeah, I mean, that's basically the secret of magic right there. It's knowing yourself, and we hear that all the time, but no one really thinks about what that really means. Have I worked with any of the Barden entities? Yeah, to a degree, not real heavily though. A few people have like ordered custom initiations with them, with some of them, but I haven't. I mean, I think that I could probably work with those fairly well. I know that I think someone told me that the correspondences are different. Um, but I don't know. If, like for me, those would probably be all right. I don't feel like I have any weird beliefs or baggage on those. But on the other hand, like I don't need to go learn another system because I'm just going deeper into what I've known. I'm trying to apply my own teachings on myself. So, um, but no, I mean, all of these systems absolutely will work, and are I mean, I'm part of me is saying yes, they're made up, but another part of me is not. It's not but that doesn't mean it's bad. I'm not when I say that it's made up. It's not that I'm trying to say it's bad. I'm just saying that you can use made up, right? And what works for you works for you. It doesn't matter what I say about it. It's what you believe about it. What's the best way to work with my attunements? It's the same way that I'm just talking about. Find what works for you and what you believe about the attunements and use them that way. Like mainly I just whenever I need something, I just send the energy at it with the intention that it brings me the thing. Um, I tend to use chi balls and just sit there. I'll put my hands like this and just let it go, and then set it free when it's done. And then you just don't. I don't think about it and just let it go. And then I'll do it over and over. I do believe in repetition, but and there's already miracle attunements and the Kabbalistic attunements. There's already ones that are listed that way. So I don't like to mix things from different systems altogether, but that's kind of which ones I don't know. I'd have to go look. You can go read the descriptions just as easily as I can. I do not memorize this stuff. Um, if I can go if I can go look it up, then I'll just go look it up. I don't need to memorize those words. Those words are long and hard. I don't speak Hebrew, so and I'm like, I know that's very disappointing for everyone, but that's just the way it goes. I don't. Um, in the attunements, there's too many systems all going. I don't. I don't work with all of that stuff on a regular basis, so I don't memorize it. I mean, but the same thing with Enochian. I can't tell you. I'd have to go look up what the spirit does. That's what your notes and stuff are for, is to write that stuff down and then just have it so you can go look it up. Um, but yeah, people, and I'm not trying to pick on you or anything, but yeah, that's just a thing I get all the time. People are asking me constantly, like, what spirit does this? What attunement does this? What does this? I don't, there's like 300 something attunements in that store now. I cannot tell you what they all do. I can go look them up, but again, you can go look them up just as easy. It's all right there in the description. So, um, and especially like in the Kabbalistic, they're in the like thumbnail, so you don't even have to click on the description. Just read the thumbnails. And then even with the Kabbalistic ones, there's things like the um, Army of Angels attunement. That's just these massive amounts of angels in one attunement, and the 72 names of Metatron, and or the 76 names of Metatron, and the 72 names of God, and the 22 letter name of God, and the 42 letter name. All of it like that. Those are, if you're wanting like attunements that can do anything and create like Hail Mary type miracles, that's Rhea. We also have Mary, so the Virgin Mary. So for if you're going to try to like do that Hail Mary, there you go. And again, like which one's going to create a miracle? It's the one that you believe is going to create the miracle. So it can be the Kabbalistic one works for you, or it could be the Virgin Mary. It could be that fire of God. It could be you just gotta. It's finding the one that you have that belief. I don't want to use the word faith, but it's kind of the same. Like, which one do you have inherently, whatever, for whatever unconscious reason, do you have that faith that it can do that? So that's really insightful. That's good work. So they're saying that they thought that they wanted a lover, but the magic always failed at that. And then they did their shadow work and they realized that they just wanted praise from people, and their magic has done that. And so now they're working on self love, taking action for themselves. And yeah, that's what this process is. It's like and a lot of it is also finding, filling that need within yourself where you don't need it from an external source. Like, we all want things, and there's, like, we could appreciate, like, at the point I'm at in my life, and this happened when I was incarcerated. Like, I realized I didn't need anything outside my life to be happy. I found my happiness and my joy within, and that inner peace. And there, now, I still would have preferred not to be incarcerated. I would prefer to have had, um, a lover and a wife and stuff. But I, I didn't need that to be okay. I was already okay, and then having, all of them, then having money and stuff. All of these things, like, they came when I was okay, and when I kind of have, like, worked out, I'm okay without it, and I don't need it, but I would prefer to have it. And there's a difference between, like, having a preference and then having a need. Like, working out of that desperation that doesn't work very well. It can be fairly uh, toxic and um, sabotaging. That's the word I'm working on, trying to figure out. It can, be very self-sabotaging when you need something, because a lot of the spirits, like, their main goal is to get you to a higher spiritual level, and they don't really care as much if you have the thing that you want. So they're going to push you to improve spiritually rather than trying to just give you the thing you want. And because usually once you improve spiritually, then getting the thing you want happens almost naturally. So that's really how it tends to work. That's why they push you in that direction. Now, sometimes there's just a little thing maybe keeping it from you, and they'll just go ahead and they'll remove that little thing, and you can have it. I'm not trying to say that they're never going to give you what you want until you've matured spiritually, but that is ultimately their greater goal. Um, and a lot of times, especially when you're a beginner, they're just going to throw stuff at you like, see, this works. Just keep doing it. It works. And then at a certain point, they're going to be like, okay, now you got to do the work. Yeah. So, but yeah, it really is that inner work, because as you keep knowing yourself, one day you'll find out it is all you, and you can have whatever you want, and you've been holding it back from yourself for some reason, and the goal is then to figure out why you're holding it back. Why are you bringing this? What lesson is there to learn here? In other words, and it's something you're doing to yourself for some reason, and no one can tell you why. You have to figure that out for yourself. I mean, like, therapists can help and stuff like that can help you work through it, but um, that's a huge part of it. Now there are outside circumstances be outside of our control. Um, but again, the more you get into this, the more you start realizing on a deep level, there is nothing outside of us. So it is something you're doing to yourself. So it all depends on what level you're at. And so much of magical advice and stuff is such surface level. Um, it's really frustrating. Like just to like scrolling Facebook groups or going to TikTok and just hearing people and their spiritual insights, and it's all so shallow. And I don't mean that. Like it's the same with religion and everything else. Like hardly anyone. Like so many people are at that beginner level. That's what they need. They need that stuff. But there's so little meat on the bone for people that are trying to operate on a deeper level. Or even take their practice to even an intermediate phase. There's just so much surface level stuff, and it keeps people chasing the next shiny thing, trying to think that's going to fix it. If they just find the right ritual or the right entity or whatever, and it's like it's whatever you think it is, and if you just took the time to go within and ask yourself, then you'll start figuring it out. I don't know. Any other questions? Got my door closed, so the stupid fly can't get out, and it just keeps buzzing around. So the question is why? What is it within me that wants this fly here? All right. Well, if no one has any other questions or anything that they want to talk about, we can go ahead and do our final blessing. Let eternal being sustain us, preserve us in life, and bless us. Bless us with wisdom, that we may speak the speech of God. Call all the spirits of the heavens to guard us, to guide us, and to bless us. Give us love, blessing, no love, pleasure, healing, glory, treasure, peace, and the secret joy of God. May he who sits on the holy throne of God establish us and enthrone us in heaven, and let us govern the earth with unconquerable power. And a note, when you're reading these prayers, I have not done a good job of powering through, because like what you really want to do is just be confident in the way you're saying it and don't worry if you're messing it up or not, and not like, oh, and then try to back it up. But I haven't been doing a great job at reading English today either. Balto Zirnan, Zomadnan Ta'ag, Od Lapnan Gahuakma, Enonan, Laga, Yad, Zakar Gayad, Dam Madriax, Zomadnan, Pirnan, Od Lapnan, Olagnan, Blior, Vereb, Pul, Sobam, Balt, Pax, Oa, Laida, Veoan, Yad, Ziri, Esi, Yarodan, Lil, Kis, Nan, Ad Pure, Nan, Tom Madriax, Ad Pure, Nan, Kask, Somftaog. All right. Thank you all very much for being here, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.